Welcome to my specific group's 22.2 exercise prescription. So today we're going to be talking about contraindications of three groups and looking at contraindications in total. So there are two types of contraindications. There are absolute contraindications and relative. A contraindication is when a treatment should not be used as it may be harmful to the client or patient. When the client is exercising, it will affect their performance and could also be dangerous. So there are two types, absolute and relative. Relative contraindications means that the caution should be used when two or more prescriptions are bad. So there are less threatening conditions, but still a danger warranting a supervision. However, this isn't the preferred option. It should be only used when the benefits outweigh the negatives. And an absolute contraindication means that under no circumstances should you undergo exercise or testing. So relative, you can still perform the exercise, but just have to be cautious and be under supervision. And absolute means that there's no exercise under any circumstances. So some of these contraindications may include asthma, pregnancy, coronary heart disease, injuries, and stuff like that. So you can see on the smart art there that there's a whole range of different things that can be contraindications, and in different groups you'll have to work around them differently. So children. So for if a child's obese, so the contraindication would be obesity, and the prescription that you would give them would be a plan. So it would be 5 times a week doing moderate exercise between 45 and 60 minutes in 20-minute phases. And this would be for cycling or on an exercise bike, walking or swimming. Um, and to do it for an hour a day means that we break into the fat burning zone. But to do it in 20-minute phases at the beginning of the prescription program, they're going to find it easier. And also, if a child finds an exercise that they enjoy doing, they're going to stick at it more. So that's why there's a different range of exercises there, such as cycling or swimming, or even the exercise bike if they like the environment of a gym. The second contraindication is weaker bones. So 2 to 3 times a week of resistance training with rest days in between. This will help to build the bone density in the child and therefore strengthen the bones. But it's going to be very light loads of activity due to the patient or the client being a child, which means they're going to be a young age, so they're not going to be doing lots of heavy stuff. It will just be very light, building up that bone density. And this will be for 20 minutes, so we don't want to do anything more than 20 minutes, as this could be dangerous for the child. And compound exercises, so multi-joint movements, will help to build that bone density quicker instead of doing isolation movements. And the last one is asthma. So for asthma, we don't want to be doing anything too strenuous, so we want to be doing it 3 to 5 times a week, but we want to be doing it at an intensity of a resting heart rate. So this means that the child can still get the benefits, although we're not putting them at risk of having an asthma attack and not pushing them to the point where it could be dangerous for them and for ourselves. So we'll do 30 minutes at resting heart rate level or around the resting heart rate level. So very low intensity, cycling, exercise bike, walking or swimming. So the second group is obesity. So the contraindication could be stress on the joints, hip, knee and ankle. So we're going to be doing 2 to 3 times a week of resistance training with rest days in between. So this will give them a chance to strengthen the joints or strengthen the muscle around the joint, but give it that full 48-hour recovery by having that rest day in between. Again, it will be very light loads with 5 to 10 exercises, keeping it at a high rep range. And all of these will be large muscle groups but lightweight. So the large muscle groups or the compound exercises will be supporting the joints, and we'll be building muscle around the joint to help the muscles support the joint so that there's less stress on it. The next is flexibility, as obese people struggle to move freely. This will help them enormously. So this will be done 5+ times a week. So it could be done every day, but if the client or patient is feeling sore or any sort of discomfort, then we can allow for rest days. It'll be 5 to 10 exercises for 10 reps, and this will be large muscle groups in both the upper and lower body. A very low level of fitness. So obese people tend to have a very low level of fitness. So we need to increase the frequency. So it will be 5 times a week at a 60% max heart rate. So this will start to be them getting into that, developing their cardiovascular fitness and also working on their respiratory system to strengthen it. This will be 30 to 60 minutes so that we enter all the different energy systems, and non-weight bearing exercises such as swimming or rowing, as this will put less stress on the joints over the long period of time. And finally, the elderly. So weak bones. So we'll be doing 2 to 3 times a week of resistance training with weight machines, because it can help support the movement easier instead of doing it with free weights. However, if there's a specific exercise, then the free weights can be used. Along with this, it will be good for the client to supplement or reach their recommended daily intake of vitamin D3 and calcium, as this will strengthen the bones and therefore increase the density. Next is decreased cardiovascular capacity. So this will be 3 to 5 times a week at resting heart rate or just around resting heart rate for 30 minutes, doing cycling, exercise, bike, walking or swimming. We don't want anything too strenuous on the joints, as older people have weaker bones. So swimming or sitting down sort of exercise bike type activities would be best for the elderly. And joint mobility. So joint mobility sort of overlaps with stretching and getting the ease of movement. So this will be 2 to 3 times a week with a rest day in between to help the joints and muscles recover. So we'll be doing the stretches to the point of discomfort, with 10 to 15 seconds per stretch. So this is kind of like a developmental stretch, and this will be all major muscles in the body to help loosen the muscles and get the elderly patients moving more freely. So that was my specific groups 22.2 exercise prescription.